I called this trade out to my students before it happened. This week, I took a scalp short on BTC. I shared the exact same setup, the exact same entry, and the levels to watch before price moved even a single dollar. Now, the target one has been hit, and we are expecting further moves to the downside. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how I saw this coming from the higher time frame to the confluences to the entry trigger to everything, so that at least next time when this setup appears, you're not going to be watching it happen, you're going to be in it. So let's go straight into it. Now, let's go on the weekly time frame first. Let's break down BTC and see exactly where it's at. Now, we can see on BTC right now, we are in a downwards trend overall. We've had pullbacks and we're currently in a pullback now. And I've been shouting in my channel that we are expecting further downside. And what I would like to achieve is a short position to catch that move to the downside. Now, although the position that I've taken was a scalp short, there's a possibility that this scalp short would be a long-term move to the downside. So let's break this down a bit more. What we can see right now is where we are currently at on the weekly time frame. If we put in this dealing range from this high to this low, we are in the premium side of the dealing range. On top of that, we've got this fair value gap down here. Now, price has tapped into this higher time frame fair value gap, and we've also hit the midpoint of the fair value gap. We haven't yet tapped the OTE level, which is your 61.8 at 83,000, but we have tapped the midpoint, which is the 50% of this fair value gap, which is a good sign, I guess. But there is a possibility we can come up. There is a possibility we can come into the areas of 90K or slightly above as well. But I wanted to take a short as a scalp, and this could be a longer trade, a longer term trade position that I'm in right now. Now, given all of these factors, let's go on the daily time frame. What we can see on the daily time frame is price swept liquidity down here. We had this high and we've had a failure swing high down here. That's your first sign that price is likely going to come to the downside. We've had the failure swing and we continue moving down. We've got a break of market structure down here, and look at that movement to the downside. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, as we had the move to the downside, we had this break of market structure. Although it was a wick break of market structure, price comes back up and we fill some form of liquidity down here. Now, this is exactly where I took my short position, which I'll go over on the lower time frame as the scalp. Now, targets obviously were just going to be the lows down here initially. It would have been this low, and then essentially I'm looking for all of these swing points down here up until we get to this region of around 60K, if we get there. Otherwise, these areas are key areas to expect price to get into at least. Now let's go on the 4 hour. We can see a bit more structure. And what we can see on the 4 hour is there's the failure swing. Price has created this high down here. We tapped into the 50% of the fair value gap. Strong aggressive move to the downside. Break of market structure on the 4 hour. Price comes back up into a key area, swipes liquidity. We get a move down again. Aggressive move, comes back up, get another move down. This is the type of price action that you want to see. Now, what I like most about this is the way that we have these failure swings. We've got these failure swings to the upside. We come down. We sweep liquidity down here. And this is exactly where I took my trade. And let's go into the lower time frame to see the actual position that I took. So you can see on the 4 hour where I took the trade. And what I liked about this the most was that this high down here had been swept. And that's one of the key things that I do look for when I take an entry. This is a weak high and price comes down, breaks structure, which is a good sign. And what do we get? We get this Judas swing to the upside. It's a strong 4 hour close, which is a bit scary, yes, but then we get this sweep of liquidity, and look how that 4 hour closes with that wick to the upside. So if we go on the 1 hour, we can see this a bit more. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, that we swept this liquidity down here. These are just highs being created and liquidity is resting above down here. And what we did get was a price move to the upside, aggressive move, and we swept all of this liquidity, taking out all these retail traders who have their stop loss above these highs down here. Now, going on the lower time frame, I took this on the 5 minute time frame. What we can see is an aggressive move to the upside down here. After that aggressive move, we sweep the liquidity here. We sweep all of this liquidity that was resting here, and we get the Judas swing back down. We can see that clearly down here. What happens after that? If we would have expected price to continue moving up, I would have expected price to create a new high, a new higher high from this high. But we had a failure swing high, and then price comes down. Break of market structure, break of market structure. Now we can see bearish order flow. Now, as we get this bearish order flow, what does price do? Price creates liquidity. We have liquidity down here. What do I want to see? I want to see liquidity get swept. When liquidity gets swept, this is a good sign for us. So if I just put back on my short position, I did take this around here. So let's dive into this. As we get the bearish order flow, we get a sweep of liquidity down here, and then we get this aggressive move, break of market structure. Let's zoom into that on the 5-minute time frame. Remember, this is a scalp position. We get the break of market structure. I took my entry as soon as we got the break of market structure. Now, was I concerned that price could come back up? Yes, but I was also concerned that I would miss this move. This is a scalp position, so the strategy is slightly different. Now, I took that position as we got that break of market structure on the 5-minute, and I was expecting price, if we go back on the 15-minute now, and I was expecting price to at least come into these lows that are resting down here. That was my first target. Now, in terms of stop loss on the 1 hour time frame, I had a wider than usual stop loss because normally I would keep my stop loss around the highs, the local highs. But the thing that was putting me off a bit was that although we had this high down here, the failure swing high down here, and this also failure swing, this liquidity resting all above down here basically. And what I was a bit concerned about is the possibility that price will come back up and just sweep with liquidity first and then just drop completely down. So I wanted to have a higher than usual stop loss, which is completely fine. I mean, I only risk 2% on this trade as well. Normally in the scalp position, I risk between 1 to 2%. And on a swing one, I risk a bit more higher. Now, what we had down here is as price came up, I took the position, stop loss was above the high. There's my first target. First target got smashed. I closed 25% off my position. Now, what am I looking for longer term? Actually, this has a possibility, and I'm going to hold into this position. So are my students, that the possibility, if we go on the daily time frame, of price coming all the way down and taking out that region, that low down here of 60K. So I'm going to hold into this position, and I'm very, very excited about how this is playing out right now. And even if price does come back up, I will look for another short as we sweep this area down here at around 82 to 83,000. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that I won't be looking for long opportunities as well, because price is coming into a key area, which I mentioned to you guys on my channel before. Price is coming into a key area. There's a possibility that we can bounce from here. So I'm going to be looking for a long opportunity now within this fair value gap. So between the regions of 76,500 to 78,000, I will be looking for a long opportunity. So there it is. I called this move before it actually happened. Target one got smashed. And this is what I teach my students every week. Not after the fact, not in hindsight, but before it happens. Now, if you want to be involved in these trades, shout out to me on Twitter. Drop me a message if you're interested. I offer one-to-one coaching, and I'm happy to support. Now, subscribe if you want more of these breakdowns every week. And if this video is useful and has given you any form of value, share it with one other trader who needs it, who needs to see this. That's all I ask.